me doesn't mean literacy. It doesn't mean I don't understand anything. The lady looked at me. She said, no, it's wrong with city.
Next city, Danang.
Vietnam.
Why Danang then?
Vietnam was, well, it was cheap.
True.
So that was an attraction. Southeast Asia was convenient to get to. And we sort of wanted a different vibe from KL. So KL, big capital city, we were trying to look for something a bit more coastal so that the feeling will be very different to the first city. So that's why we chose Vietnam, Da Nang specifically, as the next one, because of course we could have gone to a more built up part of Vietnam, but we chose somewhere a little bit more coastal because we really wanted that change of pace.
One of the other reasons why we picked Danang next was, at the time, it was visa free for Nigerians, or it was e-visas for Nigerians, rather.
E-visas, yes. At the time we started planning, yes.
That changed drastically and gave us another level, the collective us, another level of stress for from our friends who are traveling with Nigerian passports. And was effectively one of the reasons why a couple of people dropped off in Kuala Lumpur.
Yes.
So that was sad. That's already getting into the lows of Vietnam, by the way. So, but anyways, let's keep it positive for now. How would you describe Vietnam then?
Da Nang is promising. Like, it was, I like to say it's like a teenager, growing. There was a lot of construction going. You can see what it could be and the ambition of what it, is they're trying to build there. So in terms of tourism and all of that, it's got the layout for it. It just hasn't got the infrastructure just yet. The people don't really speak a lot of English or foreign languages just yet. So there's just little things that sort of kind of let it down a little bit. But in terms of what it actually has, the beach is lovely, is amazing. They've got a lot of activities that happen on the beach as well. So then we got to see some shows. So there is actually a lot to do in Da Nang. It's got what it needs. It's just not quite there yet.
And that thing and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but that thing on language and tourism can sometimes feel like it's something I'm slightly conflicted on sometimes. So as tourists, as English-speaking tourists, we typically go into countries and have this expectation that they conform. And by conforming, it means they speak the language being our language.
Yeah.
But I get it. I think just for ease of doing business, given there is a huge volume of English-speaking tourists, and English in reality is actually the most widely spoken, and most widely spoken in terms of sort of number of people, but also it sometimes can be seen as the language of business.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that businesses or cities that are building their tourism infrastructure focus on building up the language skills of their people. And it's not just English, speaking some other key languages, might be English, French, Portuguese, whatever. But yeah, that's something that comes to mind. In terms of and you sort of alluded to it already, growing up in Nigeria, in your pre-teen and teenage years, where would you draw parallels?
Self-discovery, I would say. In teenage years, so 10 to 20, you're kind of still learning what life is, what do I actually like, what are my interests, which direction do I want to face. And that's the parallel I would say. You're still becoming, you're not quite there, you're still being guided, you're still being molded, you're not yet left to your own devices to just be. You're still learning. And that's what I would say Danang really felt like. It's still being molded.
About 30 minutes to an hour from Danang is a town called Hoi An. Danang feels wide and modern, big roads, tall buildings, open beaches. Hoi An feels older. It's got narrow streets, low houses. You see these lanterns lying around instead of towers. At night, it definitely fills up. Lantern lights fall onto the river. The water carries the color. The streets are packed, tourists everywhere, boats passing, people talking and selling, music playing in the background, open bars. Behind all of this, people are actually working. A street vendor turns corn over hot coals, and the smell is just a vivid reminder of late evenings and nights in Nigeria on the streets of Lagos. I finally tried banh mi, which is something I've been wanting to try, having tried it first in London. I felt like I was in its most authentic home. Overall, Hoi An is busy. It's bright, it's layered, so you just walk in and take it in.
So you've talked about some of the lows being with the visas and all of that stuff. What would you say was your highlights for Vietnam?
My highlight for Vietnam was something unplanned, unscripted. It was the evening that we spontaneously got on these Grab bikes. It's Grab, not boats, right? It's Grab.
It's Grab, the green one. Yeah, that's Grab, yeah.
We were done in the night market. We had some food for the evening. We were walking out and we just thought, oh, they have Okada here. It's just Okada is effectively sort of bikes that are public transport in Nigeria. And we thought, you know what? Why don't we go back this way rather than wait for a cab? And actually, it's an interesting way. And there were loads of them lined up. And it turned out that a couple of the traveling contingent had never gone on an Okada before. So I was like, of course we will. A 10 minutes of ecstatic emotion, I would say. It was just excitement. It was like being children again. It was also a little bit of a throwback to Nigeria for us, where it was almost like a safer version of it, and we're just all really excited about the experience. So there's little things like that, but obviously at the heart of it was people. But it's doing this thing with people, it's sort of thing we would have done if it was just both of us. We'd probably have been on one bike together or something if it was allowed. But we got our helmets on, jumped on the bikes, and the next 10 minutes was just absolute bliss. So that would have been my absolute highlight for Vietnam. There were loads.
Yeah, I think especially because it was a first for a lot of people. I know people who watch this will say, oh, Nepo babies, but it really was the first experience for a lot of people. So being able to share that with them and giving people the first, I think was fun.
Yeah.
And you can't go to Vietnam and not get, because that seems to be the most popular form of transportation. So not even just that for public transport. People, that's their private transportation. So to go to Vietnam and not get on a bike, it's come on, we had to do it.
Close second was the show Charming Danang.
That was fab.
The fact that we just so happened to be in town when this was happening was a stroke of luck. It's not the sort of thing as a group we normally would think about. We thought actually it would be nice to do this, and we absolutely loved it. So that was a close second in terms of highs.
Yeah. If you're ever in Danang, check it out. Charming Danang. Highly recommended. It's not that long, it's about an hour, but it's just immersive of their culture. The acrobatics were amazing.
Colors, music, storytelling, it's for people who it's a different way to immerse yourself in the culture. Yeah, half of it you might not understand, but I think there's enough of a story there to just get you drawn to Vietnamese culture. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
It was fab.
And then I think there are a couple of humorous moments. Where would you say you drew your humor from in Vietnam?
Like, what was it, that temple that we went to, and the locals, there was this group of tourists. When we got there, honestly, you would have thought that we were some sort of celebrities, because they were literally lining up to take pictures with us. It was ridiculous. So I don't think they get to see a lot of black people in Vietnam or in Danang. And I think those people were tourists to Danang. So I don't know where they're from, but they're Vietnamese anyway. And I know some people take offense to it. But honestly, it was just the sheer fascination. And I step back and think about it. When we were younger and you see a white person, right, living in Nigeria, you've only seen them on TV. So there's a fascination. Like, you might not have run to them to go and take pictures, but there's a fascination. So I understand the fascination when it's a first for you. So I think maybe we're touching something that is a bit touchy. And I think maybe given the history of black people and all that, that's why we get so touchy about it. But I could understand the fascination, and it was sheer. They were so excited. They were so happy. There was nothing discriminatory about the way they were behaving.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it was fascinating, just because of the way they were reacting, and they were so thankful as well. Oh, thank you so much. So that's like they're going to take that picture to when they get home to say, look who I saw today.
We didn't have any of the madness of people trying to touch our skin or touch our hair. It was literally, oh, can I get a picture with you? So I was like, okay, if you guys want celebrities for a day, we can play that role. So it was all good for me anyway.
It was all good fun, honestly. Yeah.